Hello everyone, in this video I'm gonna discuss the Reaper build I used in the last video of mine, where epic bombs from Reaper. I will link in the description the video. So, this is the build I used. We take Spite, because of course it's the most damageful trait line together with Soul Reaping, and you really need both of these in any damaged Necromancer in my opinion. We take Spiteful Talisman because we use Axe, and recharging the Axe 3 and 2 faster is really good, and also 10% more damage on foes with no boons, which I guess doesn't happen a lot, but still. Also Focus Heals recharges faster, and Spinal Shivers it's for a lot, even if it's single target. Then we have Awaken the Pain. Here we might also take Chill of Death, but it was nerfed to the ground, like 0 damage basically, you see. 80 damage with 3 boons, while the focus one is 2600 damage. So also every 16 seconds, I don't think it's worth it. It can also be blocked, cannot crit. Awaken the Pain grants you more might and more and less condition damage. Might grants you more power and less condition damage, so you don't need condition damage since Reaper does like 0 damage. Like instead Scourge, even full power, I sometimes get on my arc DPS the top skill Torment even on full power Scourge, but Reaper is 0 condi damage. Then we get Close to Death because yeah, it's one of the best rates in the game basically, like 20% more damage increase on enemies below 50% health. Also here there are no really good traits, like this one is quite a meme. And Spiteful Spirit, yeah, once every 10 seconds you corrupt 1 more boon, but I don't know. I don't think it's worth it, like the trade-off is just too big. Close to Death is huge. Then we take Soul Reaping, not only for the major traits like Soul Barbs, Soul Marks and Death Perception, but also for this Sinister Shroud. Every skill in your Shroud has a reduced recharge, 15%, so you can spam more your 2, your 3, your 4, your 5. I will discuss them later anyways. We take Soul Marks because we run stuff. I don't like Greatsword. I tried it. I'll be honest, I tried it, but I don't get any occasion where I feel okay, now here I play Greatsword. In this situation I use Greatsword because it has skill 4, because it has skill 3, 2, 5. Like I like the pool, the 5 and the 4, the Nightfall. Like when you're on your enemy you can blind them, do some damage, but I don't know, most of the time I'm on stuff. Then I swap here, I use 3, 5, 2 on downheads or like on single targets. Then the rest of the time I spend it on Shroud. So like Shroud out attack and 4, 3, 5, like it's more damage than Greatsword, I think. Greatsword is just too slow, it can be kited better. On Shroud you have 2 for the mobility, like you can chase if you are far away and then start hitting and you hit for a lot, like it's really big damage. Yeah, I'm attacking this bog scale for get some life force. Then we take Soul Barbs for 10% more damage increase when we enter and when we exit Shroud. Like we enter 10 seconds, I don't know, we stay some seconds in Shroud, we use every spell we have. Then we exit, 10 more seconds, they refresh, and then Reaper Shroud will be ready again before this ends basically, and you can use it again. So yeah, it's strong, 10% permanent damage basically, or something like that. Then we take Death Perception because yeah, we don't need Doomfire, Eternal Life is just PvP maybe. And then Death Perception, 33% more critical chance and 300 ferocity, which is 15 ferocity is 1% damage, so this is 20% more damage with crit, and we are full critical chance with Fury, and this trait. So while we are in Shroud, everything is for a lot. Then on Reaper. On the first line, I really didn't like any of these traits, because like, I don't know, this one deals almost 0 damage, it inflicts chill to 5 enemies every 10 seconds, but there are so many Condi cleanses that make this worthless in my opinion, even if with this you do 10% more damage on the chilled foes, but like realistically, how many hits do you take on people who are chilled? Like, I don't know, maybe 1 hit every 10, something like that, but even less probably. Also, Necromancer doesn't hit for a lot with a single skill, so it's not like you deal 10k with a single spell, so you do 11k. It's like many AoEs, many small AoEs like Well of Suffering, Well of Darkness, with they hit for a lot if you sum it up, also 5 targets, but yeah, I don't think it's worth it to play Chilling Nova for a bit of chill more. Like, it's really ridiculous in my opinion. I don't dislike Relentless Pursuit, but I always run with my guild party basically, so I get my condition cleansed really fast, so I can't complain about that. And I don't think this is needed. Like, we have Warhorn Spellbreaker, which can remove all these 3 conditions. I don't know, I like Augury of Death because it recharges my shouts. Also sometimes I run with Nothing Can Save You, I will explain a bit later. Then we take Soul Eater, striking foes within the range threshold, deals increased damage and deals you for a portion of the damage dealt. Like, this is really good because 300 ranges, like I don't know, this is 170, so 300, let's say, something like here. So you drop your wells and everything, it's 10% more damage for free basically on almost every skill we use. Like, Reaper is a strong melee. And then we take Reaper's Onslaught because, yeah, again, 300 more ferocity while in Shroud, so meaning other 20%. This was 20%, this is 20%. And also hitting with, and we gain quickness, which is huge. Like, you attack super fast, as you see, quickness here, and it refreshes. It's permanent quickness basically. And then we hitting with Life Rip reduces the recharge time of Shroud skill by 1 second. Life Rip is the 3rd auto attack chain in Shroud, so we give 3 hits here. Like, the 3rd is recharges every skill of our Shroud by 1 second, which is huge, and I will show you a bit later. Okay, let's talk about the skills. Okay, on Axe we have a piercing out attack, which is a projectile and so can be reflected, but it also deals strong damage actually. But yeah, it can be reflected, it pierces and gives some life force per target hit. So yeah, it can do some damage. You won't use this a lot, I think, because you have many other spells to use, like Mark of Blood is low cooldown and it's an AoE. It is some big damage, it's also unblockable. Not big damage, but decent. You place it, you use the other skills you have, and before you can use your out attack, you have this again ready. Then we have the skill 3. It's a bit more damage than skill 2. It applies chill and poison and gives, of course, life force, and is unblockable. Every mark is unblockable thanks to soul marks, so don't fear to use them. Like, spam them. Here is your best staff skill and one of your best skills for DPS, Putrid Mark. It's unblockable, also it transfers 3 conditions, and I noticed it transfers always the blindness. Like, you can't miss this skill basically. Even if you have blindness on you, it will transfer and it will hit. The transfers happens before the hit, so you transfer the blindness and remove it from yourself, of course, and then you hit this. It's unblockable, it's a blast. I don't think you will need this information, like you can't use it on yourself to blast stuff, because it blasts only when it hits. And as you see, it's 1600 damage compared to 400 and 700 barely. And it's the main skill you should use from distance when the commander asks for Hammer 2, Hammer 3 on Revenants, like to bomb in some area, like he asks for Hammer 2, 3 here, you use this. It's unblockable, it's huge damage, you will down a lot of people. If like 2 or 3 Reapers and 2 or 3 Revenants, you downed 5 people for sure. Then we have Staff 5, which is Fear, unblockable, gives also some chill because of this. When you inflict fear you also chill. Almost 0 damage, but it's an unblockable AoE CC. When commander asks for CC, you go for this. On Axe, I've said this a lot, like skill 2 is your single target huge damage. It's channeled, so it's a bit slow, and but yeah, it's huge damage. Skill 3 is the best skill you have on Axe. It's AoE Cleave, boons convert to condition 1. It also can trigger an Holy Burst, which invokes an explosion of dark energy at the target foe's location, damaging nearby foes. This happens if the Unholy Fist, main skill, this, if this hits someone below 50% HP, it will trigger another mini explosion of 3 targets. So like ideally if you hit 5 person below 50% with the skill 3, it triggers 5 explosion of 3 targets each, and the damage of the secondary explosion is almost as the first one, as you see the number. So it might happen that this is one of your top skills on Arc. Then we have this Soul Grasp. It's like similar to auto attack on Staff, gives some life force when it hits, actually a lot of life force. I use it almost for that, only for that, because the damage, yeah, is decent, but it's single target, and I don't know, it can be blocked, reflected, I think also, didn't check. And then we have the Spinal Shivers, which is a single target huge burst. It inflicts shield for 6 seconds, removes 3 boons, and the more boons you remove, the more damage you do. And as you see, it's like 2.6k, and this one was 1.6, so this can hit for like also 15k, I saw something like that. If they are below 50% HP, it can trigger this. If you have some modifiers like this, you hit on some squishy class this, and it can really do 50k, also maybe more. On healing skill, I took Your Soul is Mine because I noticed I don't have so much life force. Like, I'm not always full life force, but yeah, it's not super needed, to be honest. Like, you can also get Consume Condition, but it has a long cast, and I don't feel like I need to Condi cleanse a lot on me, because my party does that for me. Also, this hits for some damage. Siphon Health, the healing is decent, even if less than Consume Condition. Gives life force, and with this trait the cooldown is reduced by like 35%. So instead of 18 seconds, it's like, I don't know, like 13. Then we have the Well of Suffering, your most damage full skill. Most of the time is the top skill on your arc DPS. It's unblockable, so yeah. Then we take Well of Corruption, which is some other damage, unblockable and corrupting skill. As you see, I explained this in every Necromancer build I made, but yeah, and it's always the same. Then we have Well of Darkness. It's a huge damage, it was buffed, it applies blindness, chill. It's not unblockable, even if it's a well, it's not unblockable. The others two are unblockable. it's almost the same damage as Well of Suffering, like I don't know, it's like 20% less, something like that. And here I prefer this instead of Nothing Can Save You. You can also run Nothing Can Save You for some boon strip if your party needs it on the enemy. Like, it's unblockable, 18 seconds cooldown, and it becomes like 12 with the trait. And it makes your next attacks unblockable. So I basically use it for making sure I will hit my Axe 3, because the Axe 3 is the only blockable skill which is relevant that you have like a single, it's a single hit, like you use this, and then your next 5 or even more attacks, depending on how many enemies you hit, will be unblockable. And I use this, like this well is already unblockable, this is already unblockable, this is like almost 0 damage also. I don't know, maybe you can also use Chilled to the Bone, yeah, instead of Axe 3, but I feel Axe 3 is more impact. Every skill on your stuff is unblockable, and on Shroud you will consume the stacks of Nothing Can Save You really fast, because it gives like maximum 15, and I think if you auto attack it's 3 per hit, and then the 4 is 5 per single, 60 hit total, like 12, 4, 5. So it will consume a lot, and I think the Axe 3 is the most damageful and bursty skill to use for this. I tried both Nothing Can Save You and Well of Darkness, and I prefer Well of Darkness. Like, it's a big boost in the damage, even if the boon strip is quite worse, since Reaper has almost 0 boon strip, like only the Well of Corruption. So yes. Then for the elite skill I take Chilled to the Bone, because it gives you some stability, extra stability. It's an AoE stun for 3 seconds, which is huge, but I understand that enemy might have stability most of the time, so this might not stun a lot, but it's quite low cooldown. It 600 range radius around you. And also the other elite skills are bad, are just bad. Like, you can take Plague Lens, I don't know, for a small AoE, Condi Pulsing, but you have 0 Condi damage. Also, it's really small. Everything else, like Summon Flesh Golem, it dies in 2 seconds. Leech Form, I tried this because yeah, but I don't feel like I'll ever need to use this. Also, the auto attack is reflectable, is the most damageful skill on your Leech Form, and it can be reflected, blocked by any projectile mitigation. And also, anyways, I don't find myself in any situation where I need to use this. Like, I prefer always to stay on staff or axe or shroud. Like, I would never use the Leech Form, so I guess some extra stability and then AoE stun might be good. Then let's see the gears. The gears, we run Valkyrie, Marauder, Valkyrie, Marauder, Valkyrie. Rune of Scholar, of course. Then we run Axe, Berserker, Focus, Berserker. I run Force here and Impact here. You can also go for Energy if you feel like you need some more sustain, like you lack some dodges, but I went full damage on this. Then we have the stuff. I run Force and Cruelty. I think someone did the math. I checked some Reddit posts and for this build, checking the numbers, the precision and everything else, Cruelty is more damage than Bloodlust, so I went for Cruelty. Then we can go on, this one is Berserker and Valkyrie, a backpack. Then we have Berserker here, Berserker, Berserker, Berserker and Berserker. So yeah, I said Berserker a lot. Here the critical chance is 47, with Shroud 80, and then plus 20 from Fury, which we don't have on ourselves. I forgot to explain the Shroud skills. I will do it now. Let's say the most damageful skill in your Shroud is your skill 4, but it can be kited quite easily. Like you spin on yourself, it's not a huge AoE around you, and yeah, the enemy can move. It's huge damage. Also, the damage is divided in 12 hits, so the total is huge, but on single numbers are not so huge, so you need to hit them a lot. And the auto attack is instead really strong. Like you walk and you keep hitting, they hit for a lot more than single hits from your skill 4. And then let me charge some some Shroud again, Life Force. We use the skill 2 basically in Shroud, basically to run away or to chase the enemies, like for mobility. Like let's say you have Chill or Creeper or something and you are behind your commander and you need to catch up, you use this. Here I need to say, like, it does some damage during the travel time, and at the end it does a big AoE damage, like it gives a single hit. I will show you how. And also inflict blindness on the last hit, but it's not so strong. Like I think it's more DPS to just auto attack for the damage only. If you need mobility, of course you need to use it, but for damage I recommend to auto attack only. But I'm gonna show you how this works. Like, let's aggro this and this and this. Like I used to, you see some damage, and then final AoE which does big damage, like you see 1006. Then on the Shroud we have the skill 3, which is it should be activated as soon as you enter Shroud, because it gives you 20% less damage taken for some seconds. It gives like some armor. See, damage reduced 20%. Then we have your skill 4, and the skill 5 is a single target stun, which deals almost 0 damage and leaves a chilling field behind. I don't know, it's slow. I think it's just a DPS loss to use it. I never used the Shroud 5. So basically you enter Shroud, you use your 3 to get some damage reduction, then your 4 if the enemy is close to you and will not kite you, the skill 2 for mobility, the rest is auto attack. Then yeah, this is how you play it. I will make a gameplay explanation of a previous video of mine, or maybe I do a new video where I explain what I do in some bombs, in some particular cases. And this is it for the video. Like the food as usual is Dragon's Breath Buzz for the maximum damage and Potent Superior Sharpening Stone, unless your commander drops the 10% reduction damage, which is better because this build is quite squishy. Like it's not a huge HP pool, and toughness is 0 basically. Only, you know, it's only this. So yeah, you have 0 toughness. Thank you for watching.